Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. I have to tell you, there's a lot happening in the NFL, but especially in our beloved AFC North, where the Pittsburgh Steelers are always a team to keep an eye on. And right now, there's some buzz that might just shake the entire division. And if you're a Steelers fan, you're going to want to stay tuned because the story I'm about to unfold could change the way we see the upcoming season. So, buckle up, because we're diving deep into the latest developments that could very well influence Pittsburgh's road to another shot at the Super Bowl. Let's start with a bit of context. The Steelers, as you all know, have been building around their core, especially with Kenny Pickett leading the offense and a solid defense that's been among the best in the league. But as we look ahead to this season, one of the biggest questions is whether Pittsburgh can take that next step and really contend for a championship. And that's where rumors, trade talks, and strategic moves start to heat up. Because honestly, in the NFL, it's not just about what you have. It's about what you add, what you upgrade, and whether those moves can push you over the top. Now, I want to talk about something that's been swirling around the league, specifically concerning a star receiver, a guy who could really boost the Steelers' offense if they managed to bring him in. And no, I'm not just talking about any player. I mean a player with proven pedigree, someone who's still in his prime, ready to make an immediate impact, and who could be a game changer for Pittsburgh. That player is none other than Terry McLaurin, the Washington Commanders' talented wide receiver. And this story is more than just about him. It's about what it could mean for the Steelers and their quest to finally get that elusive Super Bowl ring. Now, before I get into the details of this potential move, I want to remind you that the NFL offseason is a time of speculation, rumors, and strategic planning. Teams are always looking to improve, to fill gaps, and to set themselves up for success. And in the case of the Steelers, with a relatively young but promising roster, adding a veteran like McLaurin could be just the piece they need to elevate their offense to another level. Especially considering Aaron Rodgers, the legendary quarterback, has now joined Pittsburgh with the goal of competing at the highest level. Having a receiver of McLaurin's caliber, someone who's an elite route runner and can attack all areas of the field, would give Rodgers the kind of weaponry he's used to having throughout his career. But let's back up a little and analyze the situation with McLaurin himself. The guy has been nothing short of impressive in Washington. Last season, he played all 17 games, caught 82 passes for over 1,000 yards, and scored 13 touchdowns. That's production, folks. And if you watch him on tape, you see a player who's a pristine route runner, who can easily get open against tight coverage, and who's got the speed and agility to turn short catches into big gains. Plus, he's got that knack for making contested catches, which is exactly what the Steelers need to complement their deep threats and possession receivers. Now, here's where things get interesting. McLaurin is heading into the final year of his current contract, and he's made it clear that he wants a new deal before the 2025 season kicks off. That's created a bit of tension, especially since he's been a key part of Washington's offense. Rumors have been swirling that he's a bit unhappy with the situation, and his absence during voluntary OTAs raised some eyebrows. While missing voluntary sessions isn't necessarily a huge deal, after all, players do that all the time, it did spark speculation about whether he's starting to look elsewhere, especially with his contract situation unresolved. And that's where the trade rumors come into play. Bleacher Report's Christopher Knox recently floated an idea that could have huge implications for the Steelers. The hypothetical trade involves the Commanders moving McLaurin to Pittsburgh in exchange for a first-round pick in 2026 and a fifth-round pick in 2027, with some reports suggesting the Cowboys might be involved in the deal as well, perhaps as a secondary trade partner. Now, I know what you're thinking, trading a proven star like McLaurin for draft picks. That sounds risky, right? But if you think about it, the Steelers are in a window where they're trying to maximize their Super Bowl window with Rodgers now in the fold. Bringing in a player like McLaurin could be a quick fix, an immediate upgrade to the receiving core that could help Rodgers hit the ground running. And let's be honest, if there's one thing the Steelers need, it's more playmakers. Sure, George Pickens has shown flashes of brilliance, and Deontay Johnson can be a reliable target, but adding someone like McLaurin would give Pittsburgh a true vertical threat, a guy who can stretch the field and open up things underneath for their other receivers. And with Rodgers, who's known for his incredible arm and ability to read defenses quickly, having a receiver like McLaurin could turn the Steelers' offense into a nightmare for defenses to handle. Now, I want to pause here for a second. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal, because it's not just about adding a star receiver. It's about what that move signals for the Steelers' overall strategy. If Pittsburgh pulls the trigger on this trade, it would send a clear message to the division and the league that they're all in, that they're serious about competing now, not just building for the future but going all out this season. And speaking of the division, let's not forget that the AFC North is arguably the most competitive and physical division in the NFL. The Bengals, with Joe Burrow and their explosive offense, are always a threat. The Ravens, with their revamped defense and Lamar Jackson's dual-threat ability, are looking to bounce back strong. Cleveland, with Deshaun Watson, is also a team that can surprise anyone on any given Sunday. So for the Steelers, it's crucial to make bold moves to stay ahead, or at least keep pace with these rivals. Acquiring McLaurin could be that bold move. It's about stacking the deck, creating mismatches, and giving Pickett and Rodgers the weapons they need to carve up defenses. Now, let's talk about Rodgers for a moment. The legendary QB coming to Pittsburgh has reinvigorated the fan base and created a new level of excitement. After a forgettable 2024 season with the Jets, remember, he was coming back from that torn Achilles. Rodgers is now in a different environment, a team that's hungry and motivated. The Steelers have built a solid foundation, especially on defense, with TJ Watt, Minkah Fitzpatrick, and a young secondary that's on the rise. Offensively, they're still developing, but with Rodgers, who's a master at reading defenses and making quick decisions, the offense could explode. Adding McLaurin would be the cherry on top. Imagine a route-running maestro who can line up all over the field, drawing coverage away from Pickens, Johnson, and even the tight ends. Rodgers' ability to find his receivers in tight windows is legendary, and with a receiver like McLaurin, he'd have a reliable target who can turn short completions into big plays. It's about creating that vertical threat, that dynamic that defenses have to respect, and that could open up the entire offense. But of course, nothing in the NFL is guaranteed, and trades like these don't come cheap. The Steelers would have to part with valuable draft capital, and McLaurin's contract situation adds another layer of complexity. Still, if Pittsburgh is serious about making a Super Bowl push this year, they'd have to weigh the cost of a trade against the potential reward. A proven star receiver, a veteran who's been to the Pro Bowl and has that extra gear, could be just what the Steelers need to finally get over the hump. Now, let's look at the bigger picture. The Steelers have been building steadily for a few seasons now. They've drafted well, developed their young talent, and made some key free agent signings. But to truly compete with the Bengals and Ravens, they need a little extra spark, a little bit of that superstar magic. And McLaurin, with his route running, speed, and reliability, could be that spark. Plus, with the possibility of Rodgers throwing him the ball, we're talking about a potential offensive renaissance in Pittsburgh. And it's not just about this season. If Pittsburgh manages to acquire McLaurin, they're also securing a player who could be a staple for years to come. He's only in his mid-20s, and with the right contract negotiations, he could be part of the Steelers' plans for the future, complementing their young core and veteran leadership alike. It's all about building a team that's not just competitive, but also capable of sustained success. Of course, we have to remember that the NFL is unpredictable. Trades, injuries, and unforeseen circumstances can always change the course of a season. But if there's one thing Steelers fans can take away from this, it's that the front office is definitely thinking big. Whether they pull the trigger or not, the fact that these rumors are circulating shows that Pittsburgh is eyeing aggressive moves to ensure they're contenders. And let's not forget the history here. The Steelers, under the leadership of their legendary front office and coaching staff, have always been about smart, strategic moves. They've made blockbuster trades in the past, like acquiring key players in the right moments, and that's what separates them from many other franchises. They know how to build a team that's both tough and talented, and right now, they're probably assessing whether adding someone like McLaurin fits into that puzzle. So, what does this all mean for us, the fans? It means we should stay excited and keep an eye on how the Steelers are planning their offseason. The draft, free agency, and potential trades, these are the moments that can define whether Pittsburgh is a serious contender or just a team trying to stay afloat. The addition of a star receiver like McLaurin could be the move that pushes them over the edge, giving them the offensive firepower needed to compete with the best. And I want to hear from you, Steelers Nation. What do you think about this potential move? Do you believe that trading for McLaurin would make the Steelers a legitimate Super Bowl contender? Or do you think they should focus on developing their current roster and draft picks? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Steelers news, analysis, and insider information. This is your go-to channel for everything Steelers, and we're just getting started. Thanks for riding along, and as always, let's go Steelers!